Hey guys, it's Natalie, and today I'm really excited for this. I am doing a little swatch and sip of some super cool indie single eyeshadows. I have my tea. These singles are all from Terra Moons, which is an American indie brand, and I found them through other YouTubers and stuff just talking about them, their own swatch videos, because I was really interested in buying some multi-chrome eyeshadows. The multi-chrome eyeshadows have a bunch of different colors that the pigment shifts to, so I was really intrigued by that and wanted to try them because I love really sparkly and crazy eyeshadows. And they just had a lot of cool metallic offerings as well. I'm in love with these eyeshadows. They're just better than any metallics from other brands. I think the most comparable thing is Natasha Denona Crystal Formula and Pat McGrath, the like baked eyeshadows that she has. Most recently, actually, Pat McGrath came out with this Utopian Dream palette, which has a lot more sparkly shades than before, but the multi-chrome shade is actually pressed like the other ones. It's not baked. So there's one less baked shadow, but the other metallics in here are also kind of like duochrome and stuff. But this one here is a multi-chrome, but it's pressed, not baked like the one in the Divine Rose 2, which you can just see the texture is different. And they wear differently, and they kind of have a different amount of like sparkle, different thickness to them. But I think if you really want multi-chromes, this is going to be the way to go. Multi-chrome pigments are just really expensive to produce. So even though you're getting single shadows and it's just a pan, the true multi-chromes that I have, which are these three right here, were all $17. The other multi-chromes, which are a few of the ones here, were $13. Those are Terra Moon's like Cosmic Chameleon formula. It's kind of like a vibrant multi-chrome. It doesn't have a dark base for like the pigment to really shift a lot. I don't think they have the same kind of shifty pigments. They're more like different sparkles in them. And then they'll just have some like metallics that have a duochrome finish as well. So that's what I've been trying, and I really like them. So let's get into swatching. The first two I'm going to swatch are Purple Clouds, which is this one in the pan, and Siren, which is one of their new shades. They describe Siren as a pea green shimmer with blue and reddish reflex. One thing about these shadows is that they are really soft in the pan. You can definitely accidentally pick up too much product. I think with the more multi-chrome you go, the more easy it is to like pick up too much. So that's the shade Siren. When this is on the eye, it really just shows up as this pea green, which is more like sagey, kind of like a dark sage. The reflex that show up are kind of grungy toned. You can see it better on the finger than you can, but it is more just like a really dimensional metallic shade, and it's really shiny and pretty. You can see that when you apply these, they kind of need to be smoothed out a little bit, but there is a good amount of like shimmers happening there. This is one of the ones I haven't put on my eyes yet, Purple Clouds. This one in the pan feels more smoother. It has less kind of like gritty glitters in it. None of these have actual glitter in them. It's just like really large shimmer particles. And this one's more smooth to the touch. Still needs to be kind of like smoothed out because that's just how all of these shadows work. But they describe Purple Clouds as a duochrome lavender blue, and you can definitely see that the base is that kind of lilac shade, and then there's this kind of cool toned shimmer throughout. Ooh, it looks really good on my finger. Metallic and shiny it is, which is really nice. And it does have some sparkle. Siren definitely has more sparkles to it overall than this shade, but they're still both really pretty duochrome kind of shades. The first one, which is one of the new ones, and is the one I'm wearing on my eyes right now, is Veil Nebula. And this one in the pan is like crazy with so many different colored glitters. See it on the finger it kind of has this indescribable color. There is a maroon base almost. How do they describe it? They say Veil Nebula is a plum, maroon, blue, and green chameleon shade. So it kind of has a plummy maroon base with greeny, goldy reflex to it. The blue shows up a lot in the pan, but is more kind of like a dispersed sparkle on the eyes rather than an actual shift. You can really see like the gold kind of color come through and kind of like the greeniness, like there's a cool tone popping in there somewhere as well. It shows up, the like cool tone glitter shows up more in like natural lighting. Like you can see how dark and like almost blue it looks there, but then over here how gold it is. So there really is a lot going on. Looks totally different depending on the lighting. It's just one of those super unique kind of shades. This shade is Artemis. It's this blue here. They describe it as a teal, green, and blue with hints of gold chameleon. This is one I haven't worn on my eyes yet, so I don't know exactly how the colors show up on the eye, but it is very similar in texture to Veil Nebula, where it has some more kind of glittery shimmers in it. My swatches are getting like but you can really see the blue base, the teal, the green, the gold. This one is a little bit more like glitter particle-y. You can kind of see that there's just like a lot of glitters evenly dispersed throughout it, whereas Veil Nebula is kind of like glitters on top. See it on my finger all blended out. The last of the Cosmic Chameleons that I have is the shade Radiation, which is described as a bright green base that shifts gold and teal with hints of peach. It's this bright green one in the pan that's like neon. I don't know if I've ever gotten peach from this. Maybe it's just describing that the gold isn't necessarily like yellow gold, but the blue definitely comes through at the far angle. You can see the green, you can see the like gold shimmer in it. This one's also one of my favorites because it just looks totally different depending on the lighting as well. You can really see the like vibrant teal come through at this end, which is really cool. This one's super vibrant and neon. It's really like explosive. See it on my finger as well. The blue really comes through at the like far angle. So these two up top are duochromes. These three here are the Cosmic Chameleons, which are a kind of multi-chrome, but don't have that like super crazy intense shift that the next three have. This one here is the shade M51, which in the pan is kind of difficult to get a hold of what exactly the color shift is. It's a gray-based multi-chrome, so it has a kind of grungy undertone that's a little bit translucent, and it shifts green, purple, red with hints of blue. This one is the softest amongst all of the ones I have, so you definitely don't want to pick up too much as it can kind of get crazy very quickly and will get really textured. This one's the most textured. It kind of feels smoother because it doesn't have the larger glitter particles that like Veil Nebula and Artemis have, but it has just whatever pigment is in it is just kind of like a thicker pigment in general. So you can really see that it does several colors. In person, when I'm looking at it right now, it looks like berry red. But you can really see the like green blue kind of a thing, maybe a little bit of purple. You can see how the base is that kind of translucent brown tone, but there's also a red That's the issue when you get into these like serious multi-chrome shades like this one, is that you just can't catch one of the shades that they hold on camera. It just, the lighting is never quite right. I don't know. You can see that it is really smooth and reflective. It definitely has a translucency to it that the other ones don't have because it's that gray based multi-chrome. You can see it on my finger that there's just so many colors happening. This one's really multi-dimensional. The texture is just slightly hard to work with because it does just pick up a lot when you put your finger in the pan. It's just like so much comes off. This one might actually be my favorite one. Veil Nebula and this one are kind of like tied for just my favorite amongst these shades. This one is Mood Ring, which is the one in the middle here. It shifts green, teal, yellow, and blue. In the pan, you mostly see this like grassy green and then this like blue. But in the swatch, all the shades like really show up. This one is super smooth and metallic. So you can see it has this grassy green, but then on the edges, it turns into this deep blue, just kind of like gradually becomes that color. But these have a really dark base because they are that like black base extreme multi-chrome shade. You can really see how blue it gets. Super cool. And I love that the green is this really vibrant grassy kind of green, or like green apple green, and it just transitions to the teal really nicely. You can totally see blue from like that angle. But yeah, that's Mood Ring. The last one I have is Looking Glass, I'm pretty sure. Yes. This one is magenta, purple, teal, blue, and red. You really see the teal looking straight on, kind of turns purple and magenta that way. This one is very thin in consistency and extremely smooth and soft to the touch. The one thing about this one is that because it has this more thinner consistency, it doesn't last super well. Other shadows, basically all of the ones I've tried, last kind of like a normal amount of time on my lids for a sparkly shadow. This one doesn't last really well. I wore it as an eyeliner with like an eyeliner brush, and that lasted all day. But when I put it as a shadow all over my lids, something kind of happens with my natural oils and it doesn't last more than 2 hours, which is a little bit strange. But I think it just needs like a glitter primer of some sort, or just some sort of tacky base to stick down to, something to stop my eye oils from like moving it around and making it look like a oil slick kind of a finish, which is cool, but is like not my intent when I wear this shade. You can see that this one does that like kind of teal. This one's really dark as well. You can really see the teal and the purple on the end. Once again, similar to M51, the like purple berry tone looks super obvious to me in person, but doesn't really come through on camera. So those are all the Terra Moon shadows I have. This one's Siren, Purple Clouds, Veil Nebula, Artemis, Radiation, M51, Mood Ring, and Looking Glass. I hope you guys enjoyed this little swatch video of these Terra Moon shades. I love them a ton and will definitely be looking for more in the future from their further releases. They tend to do kind of seasonal releases and pre-orders. Right now, a lot of the pre-orders are closed, but they open them every so often when they like do a restock or like a relaunch. So always check their Instagram and stuff, because that's when they say when things are getting cool. But yeah, on my lids right now is Veil Nebula, so you can really see how like different colors poke through. They're just really cool. You don't find anything like this in like normal eyeshadow palettes. They're just really fun. And they have some other like more neutral ones as well if you're like not looking to do something this crazy but still want to try those kind of like duochrome or multi-chrome sparkle finishes. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and